Welcome to the Swing Clinic, presented to you by Beacon Orthopedics. We are at Oberlin Golf Club in Oberlin, Ohio. We're going to have some of the best teaching professionals in the country here today with us on the practice facility, giving you great golf tips on how to drive the ball, chip it better, and more right here on the Swing Clinic, presented to you by Beacon Orthopedics. All right, welcome into the Swing Clinic. We're here in the bunker at Oberlin Golf Club. We have one of the best here, life member, longtime golf professional at Lakewood Country Club, Tom Waitrevich, and you're telling me how you're going to make it more simple in the bunker, man. What do you think?
Well, obviously, Jimmy, most people have big anxiety when they get the ball in the bunker. They don't know what to do. So guessing in golf is not a good idea. Guessing's no good. So I'm going to show a little drill here this morning of how you can help you get out of the bunker.
Yep.
I think most players use these 60-degree wedges.
Yep.
For most amateurs players, I think they should use the 56.
Okay.
Because the 60, you have to use a lot more speed to get the ball out of the bunker. They lay that open, they turn their 60 into a 64, and they either scull it or they take too much sand. And then
First of all, that was a good tip right there. You don't need anything else besides what he just told you, but we'll keep going.
You know, it's the only shot. It's only shot, at least greenside bunkers. It's the only shot in golf where your club actually doesn't touch the ball.
Right.
You create a pillow effect, which I'm going to show here. Jimmy was good enough to bring his cutting board. He obviously doesn't.
I don't cook with it.
He doesn't cook at his house, so this cutting board is going to work out perfect. But what we're going to do at first, we're not going to hit a golf ball. We're just going to make some sand move, Jimmy.
Okay.
Okay. So,
which is what you want to do when the ball is there.
When the ball is there.
Beautiful.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to set up a little bit in the middle, put the ball position in the middle forward part of our stance.
Okay.
And I get people to open up their club face a little bit, and we're just going to make this sand go off this board. And hear that sound.
Yeah, that's a
See how
great
much
sound.
speed I got right there?
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to make that pile of sand, open up the club face, and make that pile of sand. Now, sometimes you'll have people go, they miss the pile of sand. If they miss the pile of sand and they get the ball, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that one more time. We're going to put a couple pile of sand.
Yep.
A couple nice little piles of sand right here on this board.
And Tom, the reason you're doing this is to teach people that don't think about the golf ball, right? You're not trying to hit the golf ball.
No,
right?
you're going to try to hit a little bit behind that ball, but we also want them to bottom. Most people, if they scull it, that's obvious, but they come in way too steep and take too much sand.
Yep.
You know, another great thing other than pile sand, just draw a little line here, and you want that club going through and making a swing, and you want that pile of sand forward to that line.
Okay.
You got to be able to find out where that club reaches the sand.
Bottoms out, okay.
Because if you come in way too far back, you've got to displace way more sand.
Okay.
Correct?
Yep.
So again, I'm just going to take a couple swings here, and then Jimmy, we're going to do it again, but I'm going to have you put this ball on top of the pile of sand.
I like it. I like it.
Boom.
Perfect.
The center of my chest is going towards the target, just like that.
All right, I'll put a couple golf balls. You put the piles up.
So what I do when I
balls.
teach sometimes is I'll just keep people kind of start looking at me after they knock about 8 or 9 off that pile of sand.
Okay.
And they kind of go, well, why am I not getting a ball? Well, you sort of sneak a ball in there.
All right, we'll sneak one in there for you.
We don't talk about golf ball at all. We're just going to make that pile of sand go away.
Yep.
Bottoming out.
And you're really teaching them how to stay shallow in a bunker, aren't you?
Correct.
Oh, man,
nice,
that's
high
nice.
and soft. And all their really goal is to get that ball on the green. Any mid-handicapper, even 12, 15, 18, get the ball on the green, 2-putt, and get out of town. Often people go, well, how do I buy the board? Well, this really helps them bottom out. And then what I'll do is we'll take that board away, okay, smooth our area out.
Yep.
And now again, hopefully they can just make that pile of sand go away.
Yep.
Ball position forward, open up their club face, and swing through.
All right, we come back. We have more of these guys right here. Northern Ohio PGA golf professionals giving you great golf tips here at Oberlin Golf Club. Welcome back to the Swing Clinics. We've talked about we're doing everything to make your golf game better. Special guest, he's been on the show many, many times. You probably know him as well as you know me as one of the hosts. Jim Hackenberg, he's the owner of the Orange Whip Company. And Jim, welcome to Ohio, number one.
Love it, thank you.
Sometimes it's not all about hitting balls on the driving ranges, and it's the stuff that you do to prepare yourself, and even through the winter time, because we're about to hit that time.
Sure, and it's hard to hit balls in the winter, so you got to keep your body loose, you got to keep moving.
Yep. So talk to me a little bit about what you got strapped on yourself here, because this is a device that you guys have developed to help people with their golf swing, and it kind of goes along with the other stuff that you've designed.
Absolutely. We've got a couple of resistance bands hooked up to my feet with the special straps and a belt that's hooked up on my hips. Now, as you know, when you've taught golfers, getting them to turn and rotate, sometimes you have to get behind them and that's awkward and uncomfortable, or you're trying to move their shoulders and it doesn't feel accurate or right. This allows a person to learn to train their body to turn, and by some brief modifications, all I do is turn it and I can make those movements.
So let's talk about, resistance bands are great in workout, right? I mean, you talk about the ability to not injure yourself with weights and stuff, and you see them all over the workout, you know, places and facilities, but talk to me about why it helps your body get in those positions, and just let's go through kind of the things that you do with your Orange Whip to make it work.
Sure, as we all want to hit the ball further, we need to have a bigger turn.
Right.
So I'm going to take this, I'm going to grab it right by these handles and rotate it, just a quick little pivot here.
Yep.
Now that means I've got resistance here pulling my body into a full swing.
So that band is helping you move that way.
Oh, it almost springs me back.
Yeah, oh,
I
good.
mean, I'm making a big full turn.
Yep.
By putting it into this position and swinging an Orange Whip or a light speed or a golf club, you could do it when you're on the range. It's gonna allow you to make that big turn. We recommend 10 full swings with that big turn, encouraged by the resistance bands.
Swing some Orange Whips with it. Let's see how it works when you do it.
So starting slow with the whip, I'm building up, but I'm getting a big turn on the back, but there's a resistance on the through. But that's good, because that's encouraging me to let all my momentum get fully loaded.
So it's pulling you back right now when you're making that turn.
Pull me back and encouraging me to go through, because I've got to almost work against the resistance.
Man, and so many, how many, as PGA golf professional, yourself and myself, it's so hard to get people to make a turn. They feel like they're making a turn, right? Because they lift their arms up in the air and they're like, oh, look, the club's at parallel, but they're really not getting where we need them to get.
A lot of times it's just a lifted arm. You're right,
Yep.
the body has to turn. But now, once you've loaded up all that energy, we've got to unload it at the target. So what I'm going to do is, again, another quick, simple fix. I rotate it, grab the handles,
Yep.
full turn. I'm going to
Other
get
way, huh?
this
Okay.
to the right hip.
Yep.
Now, when I swing back, I've got resistance, so I'm really building up the muscles in the core for this. But here, I can't almost slow down. My body is flying that way.
Well, and let's talk about it, right? What's the first thing that happens, again, as PGA golf professionals, and Jim's a PGA professional like I am, first thing that happens when you try to get somebody to make a turn, they start swaying, right?
Yep.
They start moving. This stops that and actually makes you turn your right hip behind you, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because it's pulling me. I mean,
Yep.
it's pulling me here and then releasing it there, and you can feel it. It's simple, but you almost don't even have to coach someone.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. You can coach yourself with this.
So you do this with the Orange Whip also, huh?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Because once I get moving, I feel the resistance on the backswing, but then I'm allowing the speed to carry through on the follow through, and it's a full turn. I'm not holding back. My head's not still looking at where the ball was.
Yep.
I'm looking where it is. My body is fully rotated.
Well, and one of the great things about this, I think, that you and I have talked about too, you can hit golf balls with it,
Yeah.
right? You can hit drivers, you can hit wedges, you can sit there and make your moves. So you're not just swinging it in your garage, you can take it to the range and make it work.
You could play with it on the golf course
Yeah.
if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not legal in a tournament.
Yeah.
But you could play with it on the course. But hitting balls is great because it exaggerates the feeling.
Yep.
What we recommend is that first position I had it in, where it is assistance on the backswing, do 10 swings with that or hit 10 shots with that, then flip it so it's assistance on the follow through, 10 more balls there, and then take it off and then go ahead and just hit normal. Your body will feel like it's still on. Go to orangeripgolf.com
Yep.
and you can purchase it there. And if you want to go to the higher level, we have a whole fitness program at
Okay.
Orange Rip Golf.
To be able to use this on a golf course is great, but to me, to be able to take this through the winter time or through the bad weather and train your body to do the right things, come out in the spring and just rip, it's just awesome. All right, Jimbo, thanks for coming back to Ohio and showing us this device. It's going to help a lot of golf games.
Absolutely.
All right, when we come back, more Swing Clinic presented to you by Beacon Orthopedics. Welcome back into the Swing Clinic presented to you by Beacon Orthopedic. We are here at Oberlin Golf Club and we're with Scott Pollock, PGA golf professional. And man, your career has taken a little bit of a different turn, right? You were a traditional golf professional.
Sure.
You were with Callaway Golf for a while. Now you're in the whole world of simulators and you have your place there, 1899, which is, by the way, awesome. If you're in Northeast Ohio, you got to come check it out. It's really good.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like I say, obviously I had a lot of experience in working with TrackMan when I was with Callaway. We
Yeah.
were doing fittings all the time, but it's a little different environment here, and people can get in there and use TrackMan to really dial in their games and verify what they're looking at with numbers, be it club face, club path.
Well, speaking of, we're going to talk about which TrackMan can help you with here is how to hit cuts, how to hit draws, and how really you set yourself up to do that. And again, TrackMan can give you feedback from that, but let's have Scott Pollock give us feedback from that and how you really make yourself hit those shots.
Sure, thanks. So yeah, there's not very often that I find myself hitting the ball dead straight. Maybe a pitching wedge, sand wedges, things like that. I'm not necessarily seeing much curve, but I usually see some shape, one direction or the other on each shot there, if you will. Now again, depending on my swing feels any given day, I may hit cuts all day one day and draws all day the next day. I'm not all that tuned in, but at least to know when we do it. So so a straight shot is almost an anomaly, with a little longer club. But we've got our target line heading towards our white flag right here, and basically the club face to club path ratio is what creates curvature on the club, and that's why shorter clubs, we tend to we can, for a right-handed golfer, I could pull it left or push it right, but I'm not going to curve a wedge too much unless I really manipulate it.
Right. As
the club faces get flatter and flatter and we have less loft, now we're creating those same dynamics, create more side spin. That's why a driver, can hook so much or slice so much relative to a wedge.
Right.
It's just golf's just a physics problem at the end of the day. So if I intentionally want to hit a cut, which I was kind of playing all day the last couple of days, that seemed to be working. Again, what I'm going to try to do is get my body lines cut. Again, it's going to start for right-handed golfers, and start left of center, and then fade back to the right. So what I need to do is get my body lines, and most importantly, my shoulders aiming left of the target line.
Which this is our target line, right?
Yeah, white line is our target line.
Yep.
So in my setup here, I'm going to, as I said, my feet are really that's more of a feel thing, but it's getting these shoulders set. That way, when I get to impact, I can kind of be in a position here where my shoulders are heading just a little left of the target. It'll allow that club to go slightly from outside to in across the target line. Hopefully get that ball to start just left of the target and go on back.
So you really have changed your path, Scott, is what you're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
You've changed your path compared to the target line. So if we
Correct.
drew a line, it's going this way, even though you're trying to get the ball to end up that way. Yep.
Yeah, a more, I guess if we talked about a perfect, swing for a right-handed golfer, our swing path might look, something like this, what we call the inside to square and then back to inside as I'm rotating here. So now by putting my body this way, my club path is going to be coming a little bit more from the outside to in to create that that spin. See if we can get one accomplished here.
And a little cut here for us.
Yep.
And that ball started left. Your divot's even left if I look at it right here, Scott, right?
Sure.
And then if your face was correct, it should fall to the right a little bit, right?
Yep. It started a little bit further left than I wanted, but it had the cutting action on it.
Yep.
And then if we're going to obviously hit a draw, we've got to reverse that whole process. And that's what, so many golfers come to us. And again, a right-handed golfer, one of the biggest problems is slicing the golf ball.
Right.
But what happens is, unfortunately, when someone is slicing it, the fix is actually counterintuitive.
Right.
Ball's going to the right, so the golfer naturally swings to the left, but the more you swing left, the more the ball curves.
Slices, right,
so that's why they end up getting the two-way miss. They'll get the big yank to the left, or they just continue wiping it and keep doing this, or closing their club face and finding all these other manipulations to try to keep the ball on the golf course.
Right.
So when I'm first working with a player, attempting to get them from not coming over the top or not cutting it, we actually have to get them to feel like they're actually getting their shoulders aiming a little bit further to the right. And to a golfer who's slicing the golf ball,
that's hard to do, right?
Scary.
Really hard to do,
That's some scary stuff. They're like, oh my God, they feel like they're gonna hit it over there by the range picker, So, but if I want to hit a ball that starts to the right of this target line, same thing. I'm gonna get my body lines to head out this way a little bit. Had to hit this shot just the other day. I was in the left trees on a par 5 and had to kind of carve one around the corner to lay up, and you bet I just kind of got myself in like this. Get all these lines heading out to the right, and again,
now if you string this the same way, you're going to start. It's going to go that way.
So
right?
again, here was our kind of our natural line, if you will. These golf balls here. Now, since my body's more turned this way, now my path is going to come more from the inside to out, and that combination will create a shot that curves a little bit more from right to left.
Yep.
Again, that's usually pretty easy for me, and I usually see the left side of the golf course plenty.
So that ball started out way right of this line, but at the end of the day, it's going to end up in line with it right there. All right, folks, we come back. More great golf tips from the golf pros here from the Northern Ohio PGA, right here on the Swing Clinic, presented to you by Beacon Orthopedics. Welcome back to Swing Clinic, presented to you by Beacon Orthopedics. And speaking of Beacon Orthopedics, they have one of their best. Dr. Cha joins us here today. We're here at Kenwood, which is going to be the home of the LPGA event, which you guys are involved in here at Kenwood. And then let's just talk a little bit about women in sports. And you guys are pretty heavily involved when it comes to Beacon, huh?
Oh yeah, we love the partnership with the LPGA, and to host it in our backyard Kenwood Country Club, it's a obvious partnership.
Yeah, it's great. So let's talk. You do knees and shoulders, you said, is kind of your specialty. Those are two things that issues in golf pop up all the time. You know, it's twisting and turning, especially the knees and stuff. What do you do from a standpoint of, you know, you could have a 30 handicapper come in, or you could have a tour player come in. There's different things in how do you have to prepare your body to be able to handle that twisting and turning. Huh?
Oh, there's no question. If you look at the violence of a golf swing,
yeah.
I mean, whether you're one of the young athletes playing here at the LPGA or the weekend warrior like myself, I mean, there's a ton of torque and a lot of load that puts the knee and the lower extremities at risk.
Well, you know, we saw Tiger grow up all that time and how he just would rip at the golf ball, you know, and just the violence, like you said, that comes through. And now everybody wants to hit it further. That's good for the golf ball going further, but it's not good for the body, I'm sure.
Yeah, not good for the body, but good for an orthopedic surgeon because it certainly keeps us busy.
Now, do you see a lot of shoulders also when it comes to golf with problems with turning and lack of mobility and stuff?
Yeah, that's part and parcel, because as you finish, you're coming up high. And I always say the two things that are most at risk for a shoulder is overhead reaching and reaching back.
Yeah.
Those are both activities that are in a golf swing.
Yeah, for sure. So you a golfer? You love the game, especially as much as Doc Kremchen?
Struggling golfer, yeah, struggling. Yeah.
Well, just like you need an orthopedic surgeon needs to have some problems in the body, I need bad golfers for my profession too. All right?
Yeah, you're in business. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Dr.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll have more golf tips right here on the Swing Clinic, presented to you by Beacon Orthopedics. Welcome back to the Swing Clinic, presented to you by Beacon Orthopedics. We're here with the Northern Ohio PGA, and I'm with one of the best right here, Gary Trevisano. Gary, you're teaching over at Windmill Golf Center now.
Yeah, on Route 82 in Macedonia, beautiful driving range.
You got to get that right so nobody goes to Windmill.
Sometimes they go to Windmill Golf Course, so you got to be careful there.
So, Gary, 7-time Player of the Year in the Northern Ohio PGA, is that right?
I believe 7, yes.
Would you fire? So we're here at a stroke play event. Gary just got off the golf course. We yanked him over here to do a quick tip because he's one of the best ball strikers I've ever played with. Pretty good day today, huh?
I had a beautiful day. I mean, just sort of came out of I've been playing okay, but today was no bogeys, 7 birdies, or 5 birdies, excuse me.
Let's go with 7.
I wish I almost got 7. I had a couple chances, but so I shot 5 under and I was tickled.
That's a good round of golf. Well, listen, you've always been a great ball striker. I've known you for 20-some years, and you just seem to always be able to strike the ball first. So I figure with you, let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about what you think about when you're getting ready to hit golf shots and make it happen.
Well, what I think about it, I try to keep it pretty simple, unless I'm on the range working on something, Jim. But when I get on the course, I really just think about 2 things.
Okay.
Alignment, make sure I'm aiming good, and tempo. I try to get my tempo.
So your tempo's great, right? Why do you think your tempo's so good? I mean, your rhythm in your golf swing is really good. How does that happen?
Well, you know what I think it is? It's years of myself telling myself, hey, you know, smooth back, you know, a little more aggressive through, but rhythm, tempo, I thought that since I was 9 years old when I started playing the game, and I think it's just always stuck with me. And any lessons I always had, you know, the instructor sometimes said that, and I got a great tip, though, I think, for the average golfer out there, Jim.
Yep, let's hear it.
And that's setup. You know, you got to sit up to the ball properly.
Yep.
Now, which includes, of course, as you know, a lot of things. You got to hold it correctly.
Yep.
You got to stand properly. The ball position's got to be correct.
Right.
Your posture's got to be good.
Yep.
You got to aim good. Not so much on the range here, but when you play golf, you better aim pretty good.
Right.
So if you can get all those things down out there as a 10, 20, 30 handicap, if you can understand those and get yourself in a good position to start with, it just makes things a lot easier.
Yep, no doubt.
So many times when I get it, you know, you give lessons, whoever gives lessons, you know, you'll see the guy, you know, he's like this, or the ball's back here, or he's standing straight up, or there's something wrong with his setup, and it's hard to hit good golf shots if you don't have a good setup. Watch the touring pros, as you know. They all look like they set up pretty good, darn good to me.
So you were a good athlete outside of golf when you were younger, right? So do you believe in getting somebody in a good athletic posture? Is that what you want? You want them to see like they can play other sports, like they're just in a good position athletically, right?
Well, it's funny you say that. I tell them, I want a little weight on the balls of your feet, like a shortstop, like a basketball player, because, you know, from there, you're going to stay more balanced. You're going to be more, you know, within the swing. You're not going to move and sway so much. And how many times you see people losing balance? You know, a lot of times. So a good athletic position with the feet and maybe a little bit of weight on the balls of your feet, I think is essential.
All right, I got to watch you hit a few balls, man. It's fun to watch you hit balls.
You got to tee it up.
Gary went to Alabama, by the way.
Can I tee it up with that one?
You can tee it up. Use that right there. You want to hit a driver? Yeah, hit it.
I like it up in the air. It's easier. Especially with no glove on. I didn't know you could make me hit them.
Oh, no, we like to watch you hit the golf ball. Now, hey, first of all, you can't have that driver when you're done either.
Oh, the old Callaway. That's what a lot of guys are using.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'm going to try to rip it.
Oh man.
I hit it good, but I went pretty high, Jim.
Get that driver out. It's because I got a
How
weak
lost you
shaft
got?
compared to you. I get that left up there, man. I got to hit it higher. So tell me really quick before we get out of here, your days at Alabama. How, tell me about playing golf at Alabama and how you got there.
Well, the main reason I went there was the coach, Conrad Railing, because he was a very good instructor. I never really had many good lessons growing up.
Yeah.
So my dad and I talked about it and said, hey, that's a place to go. The weather's pretty good and the coach is going to help you a lot with your game. So when I got there, it was great. I was a fish out of water, though. I didn't know what, I was like, I'm a homeboy. I don't like going away and being by myself like that. But I got used to things and did a lot of practicing and playing, took a lot of instruction from my coach down there. And I think that's one reason why, I was successful. I got on the PGA Tour and made it for a couple years out there anyway.
This guy hit, the first ball ever in the first Players Championship? Is that right?
First Players Championship, 1982.
Yeah.
I made enough money in 81 to get out there for 82.
Yeah.
And I was the first one off the first tee at 7:30. And Dean Beeman was a commissioner. And he says, Gary, can you take that ball out of play when you're done? I want to put it in a showcase or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, man, I better not lose this ball. If I lose this ball, I'll give him another ball. But that was nice.
Oh, I love it. Hey, man, he's one of the best, Gary Trevisano. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching us this week on The Swing Clinic, presented to you by Beacon Orthopedics.